A very warm welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Solomon Danye. Thanks for joining me. Ethiopia says the way forward on the GATT negotiations is to request the chairperson of the African Union, President Felix Tshisekedi, to call the meeting of the Bureau of the Assembly of the AU in a letter addressed to the Prime Minister of the Sudan, Abdallah Hamdok. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, in response to the letter of Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok dated 13 April 2021, stated that assuming the negotiation process as a failure is not right, there has been some tangible results, including the signing of the Declaration of Principles and the establishment of the National Independent Scientific Research Group and its work in relation to stage-based filling schedule. The letter also cites the Kinshasa meeting, the understanding reached on the resumption of the stalled AU-led trilateral negotiation, the agreement reached on the continued and enhanced role of the observers, namely EU, South Africa and United States, and the need for the current AU chairperson to use resources at his disposal for the effective discharge of his facilitation role. Acknowledging the legal and technical issues that the need to be tackled for a win-win outcome, the letter also appreciates the AU-led process for providing the opportunity to the tripartite to deal with the most pressing issues in spite of the interruption 9 times. If parties negotiate in good faith, results are within our reach, says the letter, and Ethiopia still believes that the best way forward is to continue the trilateral negotiation under the AU-led process to reach a win-win outcome. Ethiopia calls upon its diaspora to extend their financial support during the second water filling activity of GATT. Ethiopian diaspora and Ethiopian nationals have provided $50 million to realize the construction of their country's flagship project so far. Abtam Ashagri has more.
Ethiopians at home and in the diaspora have been playing a pivotal role since the commencement of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam by providing financial and moral supporters. They have also been extending their roles through diplomatic efforts to give SPD completion of Africa's mega hydropower dam project a GATT.
የኢትዮጵያ ህዳሴ ግድብ ለዲያስፖራ አንድ የሀገር ህልውና መገለጫ አድርገን ነው የምናስበው።
We, the Ethiopian diaspora community, take the GERD as an existential project of our nation. Each diaspora member has higher need to see the GERD project realized soon and supply energy and cause economic change to the nation and the region. There are members that have contributed up to $150,000 initially. After the completion of this mega project, every diaspora needs to see its social and economic advantage. We knew that some Ethiopian diasporas are sending high amount of money to finalize the construction of GERD.
Since the commencement of the project, Ethiopians and Ethiopian origins and the diaspora have been supporting it with finance, idea, moral and other efforts. Besides, they are relentlessly working to support and advocate the construction of GERD. We are currently observing its 10-year anniversary. Ethiopian diaspora have made financial support of over $50 million to construct GERD over the past 10 years. This is only the support in monetary terms.
ዲያስፖራ የራሱን አሻራ መጣል አለበት ብለን እናምናለን። ዲያስፖራ ያንን መጨረስ አለበት ብለን እናስባለን።
We, the Ethiopian diaspora community, believe that we have to make history by finalizing the construction of GERD. The Ethiopian embassy in US is supporting Ethiopian diasporas on how to maximize efforts, raise funds, as well as to put fingerprints to realize this flagship project at every 50 states.
በሚል ትልቅ ስራ እየሰራ ነው።
Efforts are needed to scale up Ethiopian diaspora financial support to maximize the recent 79% overall construction performance of GERD.
የኢትዮጵያ ህዳሴ ግድብ ሁለተኛ ዙር ውሃ አሞላል የሞት የሽረት ነው።
The second water filling activity of GERD is very sensitive and serious. Everyone needs to manage it wisely until the completion of GERD. We are hopeful by the recent government's position on GERD. Thus, we have to extend our financial support.
ተስፋ ተንጠልጥለን እኛ ደግሞ ማድረግ ያለብን የገንዘብ መዋጮውን ማጠናከር ነው።
ቤተሰቦቻችን መስዋዕትነት ከፍለው ያልኩ 79% ድረስ አድርሰውታል። ቀሪው
Our family paid sacrifices and construct 79% of this mega project. The remaining construction phase of this project is our part. We have put our fingerprint to the coming generation. We have to prepare a history to tell our children. I think fundraising and diplomatic work are the major effort that I have to work. I hope financing this flagship project is the most did activity. I believe that we have to utilize 50 states strategy to undertake more fundraising activity.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has announced that the second phase filling will be carried out during the coming rainy season. When the grid goes fully operational, it will provide electric access for over 65 million Ethiopians.
Ambassador of Ethiopia to Sudan, Yibeltal Amuro, held discussions with head of IGAD mission in Sudan, Osman Hassan Bilal, on regional issues of common interest. During the discussion, Ambassador Yibeltal briefed Osman Hassan Bilal about developments on the boundary issue with Sudan as well as the negotiation process of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. He expressed Ethiopia's readiness to reach an amicable solution on both files and its unwavering commitment to the prevalence of peace and security in the region. Ambassador Yibeltal reiterated Ethiopia's readiness to support IGAD in its efforts to play a constructive role in promoting peace and security in the region. Osman Hassan Bilal, on his part, thanked the ambassador for the briefing and mentioned that IGAD is closely following these regional developments with keen interest. Osman reaffirmed IGAD's readiness to play a positive role towards the peaceful resolution of any differences among its member states.
Ethiopia is the source of the Blue Nile and contributes over 85% of the Nile's stream flow. To this day, Egypt and Sudan are using 100% of the water, sticking to their 1959 colonial agreement between them. Not being signatories, Ethiopia and other upstream states do not recognize this agreement. Ethiopia is at the eve of completing the Great Renaissance Dam. Costing over $5 billion that is being paid by ordinary Ethiopians. This dam will generate 5.1 gigawatt of power, and it is a non-consumptive, eco-friendly, existential necessity to millions. The three countries have been in dispute over the construction, filling and operation of this dam. Even thought this dam provides major benefits to Sudan and Egypt in terms of reducing evaporation loss, silt, sedimentation and unexpected flood. This dam is not just about generating power. It is a matter of survival for millions of Ethiopians who deserve a dignified life as their Egyptian counterparts.
This is Addis News Hour. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen has held talks with European Union Commissioner for Crisis Management Ambassador Janis Lenaricic on various issues. The two sides have had discussions over the commendable efforts that the government has been undertaking so far and ways to mitigate observed challenges in delivering humanitarian support to affected people in the Tigray region. Commissioner Lenaricic appreciated the improved access in the region that cut bureaucratic hurdles, while he pointed out that the intensification of the campaign in the region made some rural areas inaccessible to humanitarian support. Ambassador Lenaricic commended the agreement of Ethiopian Human Rights Commission and the UN to jointly investigate alleged human rights violations in the region and appreciated the announcement of the withdrawal of Eritrean troops, underscoring the need to expedite the process. The Deputy Prime Minister, on his part, said Commendable improvements have been registered so far in improving the lives of many people in Tigray, although the government is still facing enormous challenges to tackle there. The government is ready to mitigate the problems observed in the region, and partners would register better results in this regard if they constructively engage in supporting the government's genuine efforts than wasting time in throwing unnecessary criticisms, he said. Regarding the visa extension request by partners, the maker said the government is further consulting on the issue, while the quest for access to communication equipment by humanitarian partners in the region will be handled by the guidelines that have been recently distributed regarding the matter. A think tank group in UK says the misreporting on the Tigray conflict require a broader look. It justifies how the Tigray conflict was misreported by various media. Santayo Tamaras tells us more. Demonstrations were held yesterday in different towns of Ethiopia's Amhara state, condemning ethnic-based killings of the Amhara people. The huge rallies demanded the government to stop identity-based attacks, killings, and displacement of the people of Amhara across the nation. Youth, women, and other residents took part in the protests held in the towns of Bahir Dar, Desse, Woldia, and Debre Marcos. The demonstrators asked the government to immediately stop the ongoing killings of Amharas, their displacements, and destruction of their properties.
Hi, my name's Brooke Thomas Hafterweld. I was born and raised in the UK. I do not like what the Egyptians are doing to Ethiopia. This is my dam.
It's my dam. It's my dam.
It's my dam.
It's my dam.
It's my dam.
It is my dam.
It is my dam.
It's my dam.
I feel very proud that Ethiopia has gotten where she is now, because back in the days, obviously, Ethiopia didn't have many things. It was very a poor country, and now it's getting richer and richer because many more educated, smarter people are coming, and people are learning more things that Ethiopia is a very amazing country. We just have to figure it out, and we just have to show other countries that we can be better than America, better than
Ethiopian opposition parties suggest postponement of voter registration for the upcoming general elections. The number of voters registered is below expectation. The competing political parties also announced that the promotional activities they undertake on the mass media are fruitful. Kasan Jani has more.
Only 3 days are left for the deadline of voter registration for Ethiopia's sixth national election, which is slated for June 2021. However, voters that have taken cards for voting are far less below the estimates, and this appears to pose a challenge on the election. Hence, some political parties running for the 2021 election suggest extending voter registration days. Ethiopian Social Democratic Party Beyene Petros claims that if voter registration has not been going on well, it is impossible to conduct the election as planned.
In the election process, the key issue is taking election card. If this process couldn't be implemented properly, and if voters do not collect their election cards in due time, I guess there will not be election. Therefore, if it is not possible to give an urgent response to this problem, I say the voters' registration should be postponed.
Member of the Executive Committee of the Ethiopian Citizens for Social Justice Party, Girma Seifu, for his part, underscored that additional time of registration must be given to the voters, given the current scenario of low number of voter registration.
Based on the current scenario, we have evidence that there are various polling stations outside Addis Ababa that have not been opened yet. So we believe that extra time of registration should be given. On our part, including the party's leader and some renowned personalities in the party, we are trying to our utmost to encourage voters to take election cards.
The parties also appreciated the media coverage of the election campaigns of all parties.
Unlike other seasons, this election season and the election campaign on media is going on in an unprecedented manner to the extent that I cannot make any critics about it. All parties have been given media airtime. I know that my party, for example, has about 76 airtime sessions. So we are exerting efforts to effectively use this opportunity to send our messages through radio and TV to the voters.
The opposition parties called upon voters to collect their election cards in due time to decide on which party to vote for.
Meanwhile, opposition parties in Ethiopia vow to work for constitutional amendment or change if they get elected. The country's political parties running for the sixth general elections are currently holding debates on existing Ethiopia's constitution and the federal system. Demis Mokriel reports.
Ethiopia schedules its sixth national election to take place in June 2021. With a few weeks remaining, political parties are currently debating on a number of issues ranging from federalism to constitution and political and economic policies as well. The president of NAT Party, Saifa Selassie Ayyalu, said the current constitution needs significant amendment, but everything will be done after making discussions with the general public.
The ethnic-based federal system, which we have systematically implemented over the last 30 years, has costed us thousands of our citizens' lives, millions of displaced people, billions of wasted resource. As a result of which, what we say is we have to remake the constitution.
Despite Shoma from All Ethiopian Unity Party, however, argues the current constitution is not the result of public participation. Hence, his party, if elected, will introduce a new constitution which will change the current federal system.
Our people does not participate. Our people does not participate on this constitution, right? Totally, TPLF has formed this TPLF by power. Nobody says this constitution, anyone, anything. That is why this constitution is not really a constitution. It is the manifesto. It's not constitution totally. You can say that it's constitution, not constitution. It is a manifesto.
Adam Farah from Prosperity Party, for his part, stated Prosperity Party will go on implementing the current constitutional federalism, but the implementation will be different from the past TPLF regime.
ፓርቲያችን ሀገራችን አሁን ባለችበት ተጨባጭ ሁኔታ ህገ መንግስታዊ ከሆነው ህብረ ብሔራዊ ፌደራል ስርዓት ሌላ የፌደራል ስርዓት ተግባራዊ ማድረግ የሚያስችል አስቻይ ሁኔታ አለ ብሎ አያምንም።
Our party believes that there is no unenabling condition to implement any form of federal system other than the current one. As some parties say, we never agree with other forms of federalism which endangers people's self-administration right and may take our country to severe problem. So we will genuinely implement the multi-ethnic federalism system and will correct its drawbacks consulting with the people.
Ethiopia is currently grappling with several issues, and time will tell if the upcoming election will have an impact to solve such problems.
East African holding share company plans to use the extensive wild weed in Afar and Somali regional states for renewable energy source to the Dredar National Cement Industrial Complex. Aside its economic importance in generating huge amount of foreign currency, the joint venture project is said to play a significant role in tackling climate change. Upon fully operational, the Dredar National Cement Industrial Complex is expected to produce 5,000 tons of cement per day and supply for the export market. Alula Teklamaram reports.
Cement is a precious product to stick things together, and many agree that the construction sector predominantly uses cement for various purposes. Investing a huge amount of foreign currency, Ethiopia has been importing cement from abroad to feed its local demand for the mushrooming construction sector across the country. The East African Holding and the Chinese West International Holding share companies now seem to boost the production capacity of cement and metal works in the country. Launching the construction of one of the biggest cement factories in the country, board chairman of the East African Holding, Buzayo Tadela, said local communities will get the opportunities from the factory, citing the economic importance of the project.
በቀን 5,000 ቶን የማምረት አቅም ያለው የሲሚንቶ ፋብሪካ እንዲሁም በአመት 300,000 ቶን
The plant has a production capacity of 5,000 tons per day and 300,000 tons of metal per year. Upon fully operational, the project will help generate huge amount of foreign currency from the export trade. It will also create job opportunities to more than 12,000 citizens.
The Dredar National Cement Industrial Complex is set to use renewable energy resources, exploiting the extensive wildweed in Afar and Somali regional states. This is believed to replace 40 to 50% of the current total expense to import coal from abroad.
When one thinks of mega projects like cement factories, it is energy that first comes to mind. The construction of national cement here in Dredar will have a significant role in minimizing huge foreign currency that Ethiopia allocates for energy consumption. It will also have a predominant role to tackle climate change. Documents show that cement factories take the dominant role in releasing high carbon emission due to the use of coal as an import. In this regard, our target is to use renewable energy sources to ensure climate-resilient environment in our country.
Dredar city residents are thus optimistic, hoping job creations for the youth.
The construction of this cement factory has multifaceted advantages to Dredar and the country at large. It creates ample job opportunities to the youth. This will boost economic progress of our city because its proximity to the Djibouti port.
Meanwhile, Mayor of the Dredar city, Ahmed Boh, expressed his government's commitment to provide all the necessary support until the completion of the mega project.
East Africa Holding እና West International በክልላችን ሊገነቡ ያቀዱት የሲሚንቶ
We see this project as a game-changing investment to our region. Our government is always committed to provide all the necessary support for the realization of this mega project to be constructed in Dredar. We really value the irreplaceable role that the National Cement Factory has been playing in different social activities. The factory has been with us in the fight against COVID-19, and it has also been our strong development partner for a long time. We thus warmly welcome its new investment and expansion.
Furthermore, a representative of the West International Holding Group, Zhang Peng, commended the role of Dredawa National Cement Industrial Complex to help boost the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and China.
It gives me a great pleasure to be here in Dredawa to launch the project to be jointly constructed by the East African Holding and West International Holding Group share companies. This project will hopefully scale up the bilateral ties between the two sisterly countries. West International Holding Group has renowned name in the Western China. Our company produces over 13 million tons of cement every year and export to various African countries. So economically, Ethiopia will benefit more from this mega project.
The $350 million project laid on 103 hectares of land in Dredawa is set only for the export market, while the Lemi Industrial Complex is planned for the local market. Federal and regional high-ranking government officials attended the launching ceremony.